Good day, everyone, or morning or afternoon, wherever you are. I should do the whole Truman Show one. I know I've threatened to do
Yeah,
it.
that fits pretty
But
well.
today we have Skip Ziegler on here. And in May, we talked about how perfection is the enemy.
Mhm.
And today I really want to talk about something that's been on my mind all week. So we just did a major release that's been a culmination of a lot of work. And it's make what you do today look like crap tomorrow.
Mhm.
And this is a phrase that we kind of hold near and dear to ourselves. Like every time we think, man, this is awesome. Our product is amazing. You know, if I think about a year ago and what we are today, I'm like, man, we were a crappy product back then. And
Yep,
I'm like,
yep,
compared to what we have today, I'm like, I don't even know, like, why would I buy that old one? You
yep,
know? And
that's it.
yeah, I feel like every year we say that, and it's like, man, we've come a long ways. We're continuously improving,
Yep.
and it gets me thinking a lot about like what do we do as business owners? Is we get a bunch of money, we form a business and think we're done. Now we just have to sell the business.
Yeah.
And I look around the MSP industry and I start noticing a pattern. There's a lot of people like, oh, are these people going to be around in a year or two?
Uh-huh.
You know, and it's because they had a bunch of money up front, they burned hard, and they didn't keep improving. They built one product and they tried to hit the market and it didn't work. And so they would go to the next product. But if you got the mindset of like, okay, I'm going to do my minimum viable product, I'm going to go to market, and then I'm going to adjust,
Yes.
I'm going to improve, I'm going to figure out what else I can do better. That's how we end up in a place like where Skip and I are today, where we have this great release that is like, okay, this is hitting a lot of yeses. Like, you know, we were hitting like 2 out of 5 yeses. Now we're hitting 3 out of 5. This is hitting 5 out of 5 yeses when people are asking, like, what does our product do?
Yep, that's true. Uh,
So,
well, and
but
we've been talking back and forth about this, and there was an interesting little clip I saw earlier this week that made me kind of laugh at this concept, and it was from The Incredibles. All right, so one, I love The Incredibles movie, but two, raising kids and now grandkids, so just kind of keep it going. And when Mr. Incredible needs his uniform repaired, and I forget the character's lady, the
Edna
little
mode.
short lady. Yeah, that's it.
I'm a
And she,
big Incredibles fan.
yes, all right. So, and she looks at this uniform and she calls it, I think, hobo robes. And,
She's the
and
one
he
who
goes,
made it.
yeah, you're the one who made it. And that was I just thought gold, because it's exactly the thing. I mean, she looked at something she made and said, this is crap. And and went on. But at the time, I'm sure she thought it was, really great. And I think we have to keep evolving. I ran into another very practical situation on that, and our report templates. Those are, I've kind of been keeping track of it, and our software does it behind the scenes the way I'm probably the only one that can really see it. But we are on about the seventh iteration of our report templates in some form or another. And I've been involved really closely with the last five. And I'm looking at the one we're going from 2.5 to 3.0. There were preceding versions, different names, right? And I'm looking at this going, this bugs me. All right. It's this thing that's been kind of, whispering in my ear for a while now. And it's just a change that needs to happen. And it's an evolutionary process in going through our reports with our members, which, we get lots of great positive feedback. But every once in a while, I'll hear something like, yeah, I kind of think we need to tweak. And those drive our future development. And when we get there, they're like, oh, wow, why didn't we do this a long time ago? Well, sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And you have to go through these processes. And at each step, you can make great stuff, but don't stop there. You can make even greater stuff if you'll keep pushing, if you'll keep that drive going.
Yeah. And as I said earlier, I think what happens is, so there's a style of development called the waterfall method. It's very old, but it's useful in high security environments. So you generate a bunch of code, and then you test the crap out of it. Then you send it off to the security team, and they look for holes. They look for flaws. They make sure that there's no code that has been snuck in there that can be malicious. And then you release this code, right? You release it all at once. And then there's like the more iterative approaches, which is a bunch of them, and they're all about get the code to production as fast as possible, even if it's flawed.
Yeah.
And the idea there is you fail fast, and you don't care as much about security as you do about usefulness, speed, and usability. And that by getting it in front of your customers faster, you can respond to what they say faster and then make a better product. Like, hey, it's called rapid development. And you're going to be able to say, oh, you didn't like that? Here, let me change it right now. It's fresh on top of my mind. I just built that code this like 2 days ago. Let me see. And so there still is a release process. So you're not just the Wild West, but it's pretty close to real time. And the idea there is like you're only releasing to like half your environment, but that you're getting feedback as fast as possible.
Yep.
And so you come up with really great code. So if you've ever been on a site that's very intuitive, it's probably a rapid development cycle. But also, does it have a lot of bugs to it? Probably rapid development. And that's okay because that particular team probably listens to feedback a lot. And I look back at like some like other products on the market, and they're continuously developing. Kind of like I don't really see like product releases coming out very often. I don't see like this. Oh, we now do this really useful thing that you guys have been asking for, and like we've done like 4 releases this year so far. We did Ninja RMM. We now support Ninja. Big release in February.
Yeah.
There was a big release in March. Or May of we now do Datto RMM. We listen to you. We put Datto RMM as a priority. We do real-time project sync. We do email digest to your clients now. Things that you've been asking about. We now do Microsoft licensing. We'll be able to say that next month.
Yep.
We'll be able to integrate with Enable next month. These are things that are already in development, and this is year 3 for us in business. This isn't the first year. It's like we're still continuously improving. We went to the market and we talked to people about what our product did for the past year and a half. And we thought, okay, we can do a lot of this better. And we still came out with features last year, but this year's our build year. And so we're like, let's start adding things back in now that we've gone to market, let's come back, iterate, and come up with some more things that people want.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people stop doing that. Is the problem is that they have a product and they're like, we need to convince people to buy our product.
Yeah. And I think, you have to be humble in some of these processes as well. You and I bring very different skill sets to our business, but we have a pretty reasonable skill set to draw on just internally. And we have external influencers as well. But even then, we know that there's even more out there that we're not even thinking about. And so you and I were talking about just a little bit earlier with some of the features that we're going to have in the Microsoft widgets. And, there's an analysis section. What do we want to analyze, right? And we got some great ideas for items to start in there. But I'm thinking through that and going, I think there are a whole lot of more options here. I don't know what they are though. But if we start with our release and we know we're going to have this iterative process, then we can build that flexibility in from the very beginning. And so we aren't starting out with this very rigid model and it's like, oh yeah, if we get enough feedback, we'll come back and, break everything and redo it. No, we're going to be able to evolve and grow as we get feedback from members who go, I really want to know what the analysis of X, Y, and Z would look like in that part. It'll be an easy element for us to put in there, but we aren't going to stop right now waiting on figuring out what all the X, Y, and Z are. I really do fall into the rules of 3. It's just one of those, personal tendencies. And we've kind of got 2 really good analyses in there now. And I desperately would love a 3rd, but I'm not going to hold up, waiting on that 3rd because the gains far outweigh the delays.
Yep.
So let's roll with it, and we'll do better, and we'll keep going. So that constant pushing is really, really valuable in organizations.
Yeah, and if you're ever a fly on the wall in like meetings with Skip and Richard and Adam and whoever else we drag into our conversation, it's Skip and Richard often will be like, well, what about this? What about that? And I'm like, we're never gonna get this done, people. And like, that's how the conversation goes. And it gets it gets a little heated for a little bit. And it's like, look, you gotta stop poking holes. I get that this is important, but that's only like 0.5% of the entire population of the world. But I think a lot of people get stuck in that. They're like, well, what about this scenario? I've heard the term called whataboutism. Like, well, what about this? What about that? And it's like, well, my answer to that is, so if you're stuck in whataboutism, my answer to that is, does this cover the 80% rule?
Yes, that is.
Will 80% of your customers be happy with this?
Yep.
And if so, that's great. We'll fix those 20% after release as they come in and say, I don't like this, I don't like that. We just did one of our releases, and like amongst Halo customers, we knew this was going to be a problem. They were going to have custom definitions for a ticket or an opportunity or a project.
Yep.
We knew it was going to come up, but we released anyways, knowing that this was going to be an issue. And then lo and behold, like one of the first people to try it goes, oh, we do custom definitions. Like, come on.
Yep.
But that happens, and it's okay. And you're gonna be like, I was wrong. We should have just done this from the front. And now we're having to pay developers to do more of it.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know what we don't know. What are the custom definitions? How are they being used? And sometimes this is, it falls into that what ifism. We can talk to someone that, well, we do it this way, but I know somebody else has talked about doing it this way, and it just becomes another thread in the what ifism. So you do really need to zero in on the significant gains and the easy part to do that. So analysis paralysis is my phrase for that. And that is, things that I have struggled with in the past. And I do come back to the point, when I realize that analysis paralysis cycle is starting to spin really, really fast. I'm like, hold on. All right. What is one great thing that can come out of this? And, I still have to do my due diligence. It drives me nuts, but I can get to a spot where like, okay, I know there are so many other things out here, but this one thing, this is gold. All right. And pull that out of the analysis paralysis cyclone and start running with that. And the cool part about that is when you start running with that, then it provides feedback to that analysis paralysis cycle you got going. And lots of times it will blow out things that don't matter. Right? It's a really easy way to define, well, yeah, this could be an issue, but not really, because we're going to solve it over here. And it's just a great process to get you out of that dead end cycle with sometimes just picking one thing. That seems to be a really reoccurring theme that we talk about with members and internally. Hey, let's find one thing and start running with that and develop that thing.
Yeah, the one thing. You and your one thing.
I know, it's really weird, but it ends up being productive.
Just a pivot a little bit here, but I was convinced. I think it was last year. When did we do our portal release? Was that 2023? 2024? 2024 is when we did our portal release. Right. I was convinced after talking to users and after talking to our market that what people needed was something they could use right away. You needed to, so we're all about gap analysis and discovery and finding out that white space that your client has so you can show them things you can do. And it turns out, like, I was like, okay, a portal is what they need. And so we developed a beautiful portal because we had this beautiful view. Now you can share that view with your clients on a regular basis. It was, I mean, the portal is great. But the MSP's perception of its value was really low. Yeah. They would look at it and go, oh, that's really cool. I want that. But in the end, it does not give your client allow your client to interact more because clients don't like portals.
Yeah.
So we went back to the drawing board and we like, what are we missing here? Why aren't people digesting? It's like this is not in an easy. It's in a great format, so we got that. It's accessible. We got that. It's good data, and we started realizing, well, the data isn't good. We had to challenge our assumption. The
Uh-huh.
data is good as long as an account manager keeps it up to date.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so how can we get around that? Well, remember when we would do real-time project sync? We need to bump that up in priority
Yep.
so that as engineers are updating tickets, as they're updating projects, the client can see what's going on. And real time without the account manager having to go in and refresh every single client.
Yep.
Okay, got that. What else do we need? Well, the asset data is, unless you're really cleaning up your PSA, it's out of date. Our assumption was it was good data. It wasn't. The RMM has the good data. So we need to start integrating with the RMMs directly, which we said we never would do because we're not an operational tool. So
Yep.
now we're pulling in all this data from RMMs, Ninja, Datto, Enable, and we're just going down the list. And we're like, okay, now why aren't they going to the portal? Well, our assumption was that the portal was accessible. It's not. They have to click to get there.
Yep.
I know it seems bad, but anybody who's done website design, getting somebody to click on your website is an insanely hard thing to do.
Yep.
And so, like, okay, let's take the click away and let's just send them an email. They'll get a pretty digest in the morning that they can use and read, whether they like it or not. And so now, what if this digest had things in it they wanted? What are we missing? Well, they really need to know their Microsoft licensing because they're wondering why their bill is so high.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get that integration going. And that was a mind-bogglingly difficult thing in my head to get going. But we're doing it. And we're like, okay, now are we hitting? And so people come to our site and ask for information all the time. I know Adam's on a long rant here, people. Come to our site and ask for information all the time. And usually I do a nice little follow-up email, and I hand type those people. I don't use a template. I hand type those because I believe in handwritten letters. I said, hey, thanks for coming to our site. I see you downloaded this. If you need any more information or coaching, let me know. Happy to get on the call with you. Standard kind of like salesy-ish, but this time go, hey, thanks for downloading things from our site. I really see that you download this one. I just want to let you know that we have this new product coming up for $99 that'll alert your customers to all the things you're doing for them. Now it does this automatically. If you're interested, I can get you on the short list. Got a response back in like an hour.
Yeah.
Like I never get response backs to thank you emails. And it's probably because I sound like a salesperson, but this time it resonated with that first person. And so I'm like, okay, we're on to something. It only took me 2 years, but we finally got this, very easy entry level with the right price for somebody to go, I would really like that.
Yep.
Tell me more. And I wasn't getting that with any of our other releases, but all these had to come together. We had to continuously improve to get to the point where somebody said, that's interesting. Tell me more.
Yep.
People have always loved our product. They always love how it looks.
Yep.
But this drive of a cold email or warm email where somebody goes, that's interesting. That's what we're looking for. Yep. Now we're resonating with our audience. Well, we were before, but we're really doing it.
And when we go back a couple of years and, talking about our platform and different things, we've got so many members that have been members for years, and we did resonate back then. We did fit the need. They jumped in, all the way, and they're utilizing it. It's driving their business. It provides value. It's doing everything that we want to do. So that's the positive. You just can't stop there. Everything, not everything, but things were working. All right. There was great success there. And if you stop and go, all right, we're hitting it. We just need to hit this more. Maybe, it's, quantity over quality or something. Then, you got to stop. You got to go, all right, we got to hit this more. Maybe it's, quantity over quality or something. Then, you got to stop. You got to go, all right, we got to hit this more. Maybe it's, quantity over quality or something. Then, you got to stop. You got to go, all right, we got to hit this more. Maybe it's, quantity over quality or something. you really can't. I mean, you have to keep pushing forward. So, I don't look back at members who signed up, years ago and go, oh, they're using a crappy product. No, it worked. I mean, and it still works. But now we can do even more. We can drive even more value. And I imagine that a lot of our newer members are going to be using the platform in slightly different ways. We're becoming more flexible, and adapting to more use cases
Yep.
for how MSPs want to work. So we're really just expanding, not always necessarily in the quality of what we're doing, but in the capabilities of what we're doing as well. So it's a win-win in both categories.
Yeah, I mean, I used to think like, man, our product is perfect. It's amazing, right? Okay, I never thought it was perfect. It always the reason they bought Managed Services Platform in 2022 and merged it with our coaching practice because I saw the future of it.
Uh-huh.
And I saw that we had a dashboard at Managed Services Platform, but it was just meant for the account managers. It was just kind of like a really cheesy break. I'm like, why aren't we leaning into this? Because I loved my dashboards when I was in the corporate world. And
Yeah.
that's where Adam's kind of like a stick in the mud. It's like I really like my dashboards. And I wanted one that would explain what the MSP was doing so I could make better decisions as a CIO. And so that's what we leaned into. And so when I look back on what the first dashboard originally was, and I
Oh yeah.
look back and I look to what we have today, July of 2025 for purposes. Actually, this will come out in August. So August of 2025. What we have today is this amazing thing that I'm sure in 2 years I'll go back and go, that was nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
That's it.
know, in 2 years, I'll probably be like, man, we've got AI components that are correlating data and automatically making recommendations. We've got automatic expense reports coming out and being pushed towards clients so they know when they need to buy what, and they just click a button and it works. Our
Got
goal is
business
to
goals
make
targeting.
this what?
Business goals targeting.
Business goals targeting. It's just been
Yeah.
ranting about that for months now. So someday I'm just going to sneak it into one of the updates and not tell them. Anyways, the idea here is that you continuously improve. When you look back, and I look back 3 years ago when we first started rolling with Humanize IT, and I think, man, we had a pretty interface. That first dashboard, I was so excited to see the first dashboard. Remember that day? You can now see it's called Overview. That was the first dashboard we built. It's now a
Uh-huh.
static view that's really pretty and it works
Yeah.
if you follow our coaching process. If you don't, hey, there's this whole other section where you can custom build all this stuff and you can now send it to your client and they're happy. And now we look and see who we are today. And it's amazing because we continuously improved. We never stopped making something new in our product. We never thought, hey, this is enough. We just need to hit the market hard. And we did hit the market hard at conferences, but we're trying a new strategy now. And I think it's gonna do amazing because we learned from going to conferences, we learned from our network, and now we're pushing, more online, more content, more, hey, let's create a useful tool, not just one that's shiny and sells.
Yes. Yep. That's it.
All right. And we're going to continue to improve. And we're going to continue to keep putting modules out there and listening to our MSPs and continuing to make this better. So, what we're doing today that you heard me say, I love what we have today.
Uh-huh.
It's going to look like crap in 6 months.
There we go.
So, I thank you for coming on, Skip. And in your personal life, continue to improve, make yourself better. Don't accept who you are. Be happy with who you are, but understand you'll never stop growing.
That's it. That's it.
All
Got
right.
it.
See y'all next week.